It's just shooting one 80mm shot every, 5 to 10 seconds, so it should be fun. But as you can see, he has already destroyed one of our compartments. Very frustrating. Let's take him off with the 80mm. If we pull up, they will no longer get the angle, and for a little bit further away, he also won't be able to shoot at us. Are you serious? What? No way. What's going on, YouTube? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to progress in Sand Raiders of Sophie. This is going to be a complete guide for beginners. I'm going to be using a fresh account so that way you guys see exactly how I would start in this game if I reset my account today. Let's get into it. All right, we are on the fresh account. That way I can show you guys exactly how I would start in this game. We're going to go over the main lobby first. The first tab we are in is Expedition. This is where you're going to plan your expedition to get ready for your first match. But before that, we have some crucial things that we need to do, so that way we can increase our chances at surviving and extracting exponentially. We have the blueprint section here. You're going to have 3 blueprints when you first get the game. These are going to be called Grumpy Walkers. These are the default builds. These are the very worst builds in the game. The game does not do a good job at starting you out with a good build. As you can see, these are your reactor. This is your engine right here. This thing is exposed on these builds at a 360-degree angle. If this gets destroyed, your Trampler is gone. You only have 1 life left, and 9 times out of 10, you just die. Even if you make it out, you're only going to be able to get out with 1 box as well as your inventory, and it's not really worth it. We want to protect this at all times, so I'm going to be showing you guys my build that I would use at the very start of the game. In the storage tab, we're going to have all of our starting items. We have rusty cannons, common guns, we have some ammo, some energy rods, and some beans, as we like to call them. You can sell all of these items to the vendor in the game. There's only a few items you can't sell in this game, such as keys. Over on the right, you have the shop. These are the items that you can purchase in the game for crowns. These are going to be very useful further down the game when we actually unlock more items in the tech tree. Now, in the tech tree, we are going to try and unlock some of the tier 1 items in the game using this trick. And this trick, what we're going to be doing is selling all of our inventory that we have for crowns. Sell everything that you have. And then we can go back to the tech tree, and now we can unlock a few of the items in the game. The ones that we are going to be needing to start our build and start our journey is going to be wooden decks multiple, the cargo deck framed, as well as the small armament workshop. Now that we have all of the items unlocked, we can change our character to a new character. As you can see in the tech tree, these items are still unlocked. So as long as we stay on the same region that we unlock these tech tree items for, we will still have them. If we change our region, we will lose our entire tech tree, as you will need to start anew or go back to the region you originally unlocked it on. Let's hop back over to blueprints, and we're going to create a blueprint to create our Trampler that we're going to use for the first raid. This is going to be your Trampler customization window. So this is going to be where you can customize your Trampler at any point in the game. The first thing we're going to do is hit tab to get to our compartments, and we're going to get the tier 1 small chassis. Now we want to orient ourselves facing forward. So if you look at the ground, there's 3 arrows on the ground. This is going to be the forward direction of your Trampler. We're going to start in the back of the Trampler. We're going to be using the tier 1 motor reactor, and we're going to rotate it using space, so that way it is facing this way. We're going to be using the tier 1 crew cabin 2 people, and we're going to rotate it so the fans are facing the right side of the ship. If you hit C, you can copy a compartment and place another one. We're going to copy this and then we're going to place 3 like so. Now to move up and down on the floor, you can hit R to go up and F to go down. Now the reason why we have the fans all facing the same side is because the only way we can get in and out of these compartments is on the non-fan side. Now on the fan side, you're going to have a bed and a fridge. You don't really have to worry too much about it. This is mainly for when you run 3-mans and things like that when it comes to respawns. However, the reason for these are so that way it protects our reactor. Now, if you don't know, your reactor is 2 stories tall. So if we don't have anything on the 2nd floor, so say this one isn't there, the enemy can shoot straight and hit your reactor because nothing is defending it. Now with the starter chassis, it is very crucial that you have everything in the front of your reactor because we cannot protect the side of our reactor. We can only protect the front because our chassis is not big enough. Let's put this back. Next, if you hit T, it will open your doors and hatches menu. So you can go through every single compartment, make sure there's a door. We're gonna go through every single one as we go so that way we don't miss a single door. You're gonna want your doors set up like this on the 1st floor. You do not want them like this and opening. Otherwise, it will be easy for people to get in and out of your ship. You want a door anywhere you can. If we go up a floor, we will be able to see a hatch. We're going to want a hatch at this side right here, and we're going to want to open up these 2 doors right here. The next thing we're going to be putting on our ship is our captain's cabin. So this is going to be whoever the captain is, it's going to be their respawn. Now, as you can see, there is a bed in here. There's a fridge in here where you can store some loot and your rekits. And then right here on the table is this little black box. You want to protect this little black box at all costs. Now, if an enemy gets into your captain's compartment, they will be able to go to this black box. They can blow up your doors, go to this black box and kill you. And it takes them 10 seconds by holding down F to steal your ship. Yes, they can steal your entire ship. You will lose complete access to it. You will not be able to respawn. You will not be able to open doors. You will lose all your loot, and if you die, you will be back out of the game and sent back to the lobby. You always want to make sure you have doors protecting this. You do not want to leave your ship like this where there's only one door, as there is C4 in the game where enemies can put it on your door and blow up your door and get to your captain's compartment and steal your Trampler. Now in this corner, we are going to be using the armaments workshop. This is the one that we unlocked on the tech tree. And as you can see on this armaments workshop, we have 2 doors on it. So we want to angle those 2 doors like so that way we can get in and out of our captain's compartment. This also has 2500 HP, so it is extra defense to your reactor, as they will have to shoot through this and this before they can get to your reactor. On the front of the ship, this is where we're going to be using the cargo deck framed. We're going to be using the L-shaped ones on these. And we're going to be placing 2 of them on the left side like so. And then we're going to be using the single cargo deck framed on here like so. Now this is going to give you great looting for when you destroy enemy tramplers, from when you pull up to POIs and things like that. This is going to allow you to throw loot on here without having to climb up your ladder and get onto your ship. Speaking of ladder, we're going to need a way to get onto our ship. Now, if we go to essentials, we can go to entrance areas. We're going to have 1 unlocked. This is the one that I normally use on all of my builds, so don't worry that it's the tier 1. One thing to know about ladders and this opening is that enemies can climb up this ladder, get onto this platform, jump out, turn around, grab this ledge, and then climb up your ship. You will not expect it 9 times out of 10. And they will get the jump on you and have a good chance at killing you. Now, to stop them from getting up your ship this way, you have to go to decks and frames and get this balcony that has the rails, the S&H deck standard. We'll put that on this so that way they can no longer jump out, because there is a railing here and it is too far. So they can no longer jump up on our ship using this as long as we have this deck here. Now on the front of the ship, we're going to be using, we need to put mounts the lower supporting frames connected on both sides like so. Now we're going to place 3 turrets on here. And so if we go under the combat, we're going to have 1 turret unlocked. We're going to place 1, 2, and 3. Now in this last spot, we're going to be placing our steering wheel, how we're going to be turning our ship. This is going to be essential. You need this to make your truck, make your Trampler. Now you can see that there's railings on here. This is what we ended up unlocking on the tech tree. We unlocked the deck standard with no railings. So if we place this on here, it gets rid of the railing. So we're going to want to do that everywhere we can. Now, one of the most essential parts of any build is organization, and that is what we're going to be putting on this very last box. So if we go under utility, we can get the cargo deck. You can use any of them that you like. However, I do like the one that goes like this, so that way I can run back here and run off my Trampler to my reactor. Either way I can go. If this was like this, it might be a little bit harder to get up and down. However, you can just run straight back through here on your reactor. But if you're over here, you just want to be able to hop down. You don't want to be jumping over the balcony and then things like that. This is going to be our Trampler setup. This is going to be the starter build that you should be utilizing in all of your raids. Now it does cost 50 crowns, which we don't have, so we are going to have to sell something to run it. That is due to these armament, the workshop. But this workshop is huge. You can use it to craft ammo, cannon ammo, C4, guns, things like that you're going to be needing throughout the raid. So we definitely want to keep that. It also serves as a little loot depot, as there is a couple of shelves in there. This thing is very good for early game to be able to craft in the middle of the raid. Now the next thing we need to cover before we start getting ready for our raid is going to be our settings. Now you can just copy my settings. I'm not going to go too in depth on the guide. I like to use windowed borderless so I can back out of my game without making it go away. We use 16:9 aspect ratio. I'm on a 1080p monitor. Make sure your field of view is at 110. Shut desync off, then set your frame rate to the desired frame rate. I'm on a 165 hertz monitor, so I can only have 165 frames on my game. In the graphics section, you are going to want to shut off anti-aliasing and super resolution. This is going to set your render resolution to native 1x, and then everything else is going to be set to low, very low. Everything should be set to low. The only thing that you want maxed out is going to be your render distance. You're going to want to be able to see enemy tramplers in the distance and things like that. Make sure all of these are set to off. And then for the color filters, I like to use the bright color filter. It makes the game just look way more vibrant. You can see people a lot better, especially when it's dark out. So I like to use the bright. Under the audio tab, we have our master volume set to 28. We shut off our music volume so we don't get distracted and we can hear the things going on in the raid. Our ambient sound volume we set to 0, and our SFX we set to 76. Our voice chat is on. We have it set to push to talk. And that is it for the audio. Under controls, we currently are running a mouse that has 800 DPI, and our mouse sensitivity is a 0.35. This is a good place to start at if your DPI on your mouse is at that. Just adjust it to what your personal preference is and go from there. Now for our bindings, we have only changed a few. Honestly, we use mainly the same bindings that the default is. Going back to controls, the main thing that you're going to want to change is your weapon handling mode. Now, most FPS shooters, you look down the sights. If this is set to smuggler, you will be hip firing the whole time. It's just clunky and not good. You're going to want to set this to OLA as soon as possible. Next, we are going to be planning our expedition. So the first thing we want to do is select our new Trampler that we created, which was the Fuming Mule. Now, as you can see, we do not have any crowns, so we need to go over to storage, and we're going to need to sell a few items to get 50 crowns. Now, I'm just going to sell the shotgun turret. I'm going to sell 2. You can only sell 1 if you want. However, this is going to allow us to select this Trampler. So we're going to build the Trampler, and now it shows our Trampler on here. So now we are good to set up the raid. Now for the raid, the first thing that's going to come up is your character menu. You have a couple of options. You have 2 spots for guns, and then you can put utility and ammo in these green slots, and you can put in armor on here. There is a backpack here, however, that is not active in the game. There is no backpacks right now at the state. The guns I like to run is going to be the revolver for killing zombies, and then the shotgun for killing enemies if they get on my ship. You don't want to run without a shotgun. Shotguns are very good in this game. We're then going to need ammo for our revolver and our shotgun. If you hover over them, it will show what ammo it uses. This one uses 8x21 ammo. So we're going to grab 2 stacks of the 8x21 ammo, and then on the shotgun ammo, we're going to grab 1 stack. The next thing I like to keep on my person at all times is going to be the energy rods. I then like to put 5 canned food on me because they do heal you. If you have 3 bars of health in this game, and the only way you can get to the, say you're down to your last bar of health, the only way you can get to regenerate your 2nd and 3rd bar of health is by eating food or using a med kit. This is the only things we're going to be taking on our players. We don't have any armor, so we're going to have to find that in game. If you hit continue, it's going to show you all of your cargo decks that we put on our Trampler where we can put in extra loot. Now the main things that we are going to be needing is going to be our cannons and our rekits. So if you hit E or Q, you can switch to the different cargo decks that you have on your ship. Now we put this cargo deck, the number 5 one is going to be the very top of this Trampler. It's the only one that's not framed on this deck. So we're going to want to put all of our cannons there, so that way we can transfer it from the cargo deck to our cannon location as easy as possible, and we're not looking around our ship looking for everything. On this build, we have 3 cannon slots. So for those 3 cannon slots, we're going to use 1 for an 80mm, which is going to be your long range cannon. This does 1000 damage per shot, regardless of what you're shooting at. Next, we're going to be using 2 rusty 40mm cannons. I do like using shotgun cannons. However, when you're running rusties, you don't have the spot for it because these go on cooldown so easily, which I will show you in this game. We're then going to need ammo to go along with our cannons. So for our ammo, for the 40mm, we're going to grab 3 stacks of ammo. And for our 80mm, we're going to grab 2 stacks of ammo. Now each turret can hold 3 stacks of ammo, so we're gonna have to divvy out all of this ammo. It does make it tough if you die because you will not have ammo in this game, so you can always start a new character if your first run doesn't go well. I'm gonna show you guys in raid exactly what that looks like. The next thing you're gonna want to do is set up your rekits. So if we go to our single storage compartment, which would be the number 3. This is where we're going to put our rekits. We're going to bring in both of our shotguns and 50 shotgun ammo, as well as 20 food plus 5 food. The food is one of the most important things to bring into raid, and I'm going to show you why when we build up the Trampler. You have just about everything. If you hit continue, it's going to give you a breakdown of everything that you're bringing into raid. If we go down here, we can select the mode. You're going to have 2 different options. You have storm dive, which is a battle royale. There's going to be a storm that gets smaller and smaller as the match goes on. That is very oriented towards PvP. In voyage, there's going to be no storm. There's unlimited match duration. You join at any time, you can leave at any time. Now, there is better loot in Storm Dive. It is more PvP oriented. We're going to be doing our first raid in Storm Dive to show you guys how I would start in this game. You can hit accept. Make sure you're on solo only. You do not want to be fighting small crews or large crews. In small crews, that is up to 3 people, and large crews is up to 6 people. That is a lot of a lot of people shooting at your ship if you're going into these, so make sure you have solo check. Go ahead and accept, and let's get into the first raid. All right, let's get it. We are in our first raid, boys. At least it will be for you guys. You will start off having your weapons unloaded, so you're going to want to make sure that you load all your weapons before you do anything. We're going to go ahead and climb up our ladder. If you can see, this is our reactor on the back of the ship. Now this button right here is going to be your main switch on how you can turn it on. Now we did bring those energy rods in here. Now this is going to be your gasoline. This is going to be how you fuel up your reactor so that way it keeps going. This right here is going to be your fuel meter. So as you can see right now we have 10 minutes. We're going to throw one fuel rod in there just to boost us up to around 20 minutes. So that way we are good for a little while. We're going to make our way to the front of the ship and we're going to look for our rekits. Now this we're going to want to put in our captain's compartment because that is where we're going to be spawning in. Now this is your captain's compartment. Let's go ahead and swap it out with one of the empty boxes in here. And we can throw this other empty box on the shelf for now. Now this device right here allows enemies to capture your ship. This is the thing that you want to protect in this game. So if an enemy gets to your ship, they can steal your Trampler. It is currently turned off right now, but if you watch this video, it could be turned on. So make sure you have doors going to the ship. You don't make it easy and you're watching it. You're watching for people stealing it. Let's go ahead and take an empty box and we're going to want to grab our food. Now, talking about our beans. Now, this is going to be your respawn token. Now, when you die, if you have food in your compartment, it'll be 10 seconds before you can respawn. If you don't have any food in any of your compartments in your Trampler, it will take 1 minute for you to respawn. 1 minute is a very long time. You will most likely lose your whole Trampler. Now, we want to space out all of our food into every compartment that we can, because if the compartment breaks, the boxes drop on the ground and you will no longer be able to use that food for respawn. So we're going to put 5 food in every single compartment that we have. That way, if any of these break, hopefully the next one will not. This will give you the strongest possible chance of getting a 10-second spawn timer. You can then throw the last remaining 5 food on the workshop, as this has 2500 HP and is a bit harder to hit. Next, if we go to our top deck, this is going to be our cannons. Now, as you can see my cannons right here, and we did put the ammo with it. Now, if you pick up your ammo box, this is going to be the easiest way to depot your ammo in game. Now, if you right click on something, you can split it. Now, we only have 3 stacks of ammo, so that means both of my 40mm get a stack and a half. We're going to split half of our ammo and put it into our cannon. We'll then do the same thing with the 40mm, and then we can load the 80mm shells as well. Now, same thing with your guns. As soon as you put your cannon on, you will need to reload it. So we will have to reload that so we don't forget. Now, on the 40mm cannons, we will touch on it a little bit more. However, you don't need to reload it. But you will see on the left side, there is basically an overheat monitor. So if we start shooting our 40mm, you'll see the white bar goes up. Now, once it goes to the top, you can no longer shoot until it's down on cooldown. Now, we actually like to put both of our 40mm together. Now, the reason is because of the cooldown. When one goes on cooldown, we can swap to the other one, shoot them, go to this one and shoot until it goes on cooldown, and rinse and repeat to destroy the enemy. The 80mm we will put over here, and we will have to reload it because we took it off of the cannon mount. Next, we have our steering wheel. This is going to be how you move your Trampler. Now, there's a few options. It all goes over at the bottom of the screen. However, there's 2 different gear options, 1 for slow, 2 for fast. You can side shift to the right using E, and you can side shift to the left using Q. You can also go in reverse. The main tip I want to say is how you turn in this game. Now, if you're going full speed and need to turn, what you're going to want to do is turn your steering wheel all the way to the right or all the way to the left, and then you're going to want to drop down into halt, into 2, into halt, into 2. This is going to allow you to turn much faster, which is going to be needed to protect the reactor as we are exposed on the sides and the back. So we're going to be facing the enemy the whole time, so being able to turn is going to be absolutely massive. Looking at the map, we're going to have forts. You can see Fort Arpad, we have Fort Zimmer, Fort Istra, right? Those are all forts. Those are the best things to loot as a solo. They're the easiest things to loot. Everything that does not have a fort in front of its name is going to be a city. These also have very good loot. They just take a long time to actually loot. We're going to head to the first fort that's closest to us, which will be Fort Arpad, to see if we can get some loot. There's a few things that you're going to be looking for on your way to your first fort, or if you want to, your first city. Now, as you can see, there are these ships right here. Now, the one with the 1 blowpipe is a regular ship. Now, it spawns decent stuff. I'm not going to go over exactly what everything spawns. However, you do want to be stopping at these ships for food, items, supplies, things like that. We will go stop at this one to show you what's on this ship. There's 3 different types of ships in this game. You have military boats, the regular naval ships, and then you have civilian ships which have no blowpipes. The military ships will have 2 blowpipes or windpipes, and this one only has 1. It'll be a regular ship. Now, civilian ships do not spawn guns or cannons. They only spawn food and resources, so keep that in mind whether or not it's worth it to stop at it. When you're going up a hill, sometimes it's better to go in a 1. You're going to be going slower, but it'll be easier for your trampler to get up. Once you start going up the mountain, you can turn it back into 2 as your trampler got over that initial peak. Because our ladder is on the left side of the trampler, we're going to want to side shift to the left and get close to this boat as possible to avoid having to run really far to get up and down on your trampler. You could just hop off your trampler. This is going to be the essential key item for looting in this game. You have these boxes. Now you pick up a box and then you go to the crates or boxes on whatever you're looting. You hold tab and you can take the items in there. This is a normal weapon crate. You just get weapons, some scrapped ammo used for crafting later in the game. You look around. Now we have a crate of shells. This can give you, cannon shells and things like that. Sometimes they do bug out and they have nothing on them. We'll do one last check for loot on this ship. It looks like there's absolutely nothing except for that one little blicky. Let's go ahead and put this box on our compartment, and let's keep heading towards the fort where we know we'll find some loot. Now, you can also loot cities. Cities are very good for looting. You just need to make sure that you're watching your surroundings at all times. With this tier 1 reactor, it's very easy for people to destroy it if you're not protecting it from the front. You only have around like 30 to 40 seconds before somebody can destroy your trampler. Now, the tier 1 trampler or reactor is around 6,500 HP. That is around 7 80mm shots, because these do 1,000. Now, this doesn't take that long to reload. It takes around this amount of time. Now, if the enemy does that 7 times on your reactor, your trampler will be gone. You will have lost all of your loot, so you want to be defending it at all times. We're gonna stop at this boat to see if we can maybe find some more items. However, these boats aren't the most worth thing to stop for. You should really only be stopping for military ships and things like that. That zombie right there is the main enemy in this game, or one of the main enemy defendants of points of interest. You can kill them by headshotting them. It should be just one shot with a revolver, which is why we like it so much. Again, let's grab an empty box and start looting. This was a crate of shells with some shotgun ammo. Let's look around. All of the boxes are generally either this color, green, or red. The red being the best, the yellow being the worst. We got some more shells. We got a breech loader, which is very bad. If there's anything in here. So as you can see, there's not really much on these ships. Sometimes you can get lucky and find some good loot. However, most of the time you will not be finding good loot on it. Now, the fort is pretty far away. Now, a good way to speed up is use an energy rod. While you're going forwards, you can place this in your reactor and it will allow you to go faster for a short amount of time. So if we place this in here, you will notice on our steering wheel, our KPH has gone up to the max. This is as fast as you can go. Now you see it drops down. It's only a short amount of time. There are experimental energy rods that can boost you for a long amount of times, around 45 seconds to a minute. However, you will not have that at the very start. We only have 5 energy rods, so you want to make them last. If you see this black radar thing on the left, that is what calls in the AI clankers. All right. It's going to be baby tramplers that you're going to have to destroy, and they're the ones protecting the ship. Once you get within 400 meters of the radar, it will start calling in the ship. Now the AI will spawn in whatever direction your trampler is going at that time, so you never want to be at a full standstill if you only have cannons on the front, because they spawn in the front. Or wherever we drive, we want them to spawn on our cannon side, so we put our trampler in one while it spawns on, and it will spawn directly in front of us. Now once it spawns in front of you, you can place your thing in halt, and then you can use the AD to clean it up. You really only have to shoot the top of it. If you shoot the legs, you will have to shoot it a little bit more, and it doesn't really do that much damage. It takes around 5 cannon shots to destroy it. Not sure if that was 4 or 5, but oh well. Now, if multiple AI spawn, it's because there's multiple people in the area. Because we're the only ones in the area, it only spawned 1 AI. We're gonna drive up to this AI. Every AI has a chance to drop a turret, but normally on the regular, it'll drop a crate that will have a valuable resource in it. That's going to be alloy steel. This is the only place you can get alloy steel in the game, so you need to be making sure that you pick it up every time. This is alloy steel. It's going to be what you're going to be needing to unlock the items on the tech tree. You can also get ammo for your guns. It generally drops the tier 2 ammo, so it is better than whatever you run at the start, as well as a repair kit right here. Let's go ahead and bring this cargo box on our ship and depot it. I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you guys, so I am sorry if it feels all scattered around. We are taking this in one take, so hopefully we cover everything we can think of. Now this is a repair kit. You have 2 different options to repair your ship when it gets damaged. You have your normal repair tool, which we or keybind to our left caps lock. Now this is what you're going to be using on these metal patches. When they break, they will make a hissing sound. You use this on these metal patches. However, if one of your compartments blows up and is completely destroyed and there's walls missing and there's, you know, fire everywhere, what you're gonna have to do is shut off your reactor, grab this repair kit, and go into the compartment it's at and hold it for a long time. If it's not broken, it will say nothing to repair, so you don't have to worry. Moving on to the fort, there's going to be one entrance. Okay, we're getting bodied by some zombies. Nice. On every fort, there's going to be one entrance to get in that you have to destroy with either a C4, a grenade, or your cannon. Try to kill these zombies here. Okay, we can eat some food to heal up. As you can see, our HP in the bottom left is at 1 bar. The only way to get that 3rd bar regenerated is by eating food or using a med kit. It's a lot easier to hit the enemy when your trampler is stopped, when you're turning and things like that. It changes the trajectory of your bullets. So if you feel like you're missing quite a few shots, that's probably the reason. Now this is actually the only fort that you don't need to destroy. Actually, there's a couple, but normally there's only one entrance to every fort. Even on these ones, there's only one entrance to every fort. This one, my favorite way of looting it is pulling directly up to it as high as I can go. So that way I can try and jump off of my cannon onto the top of the fort so I don't have to climb all the way up. Now there is loot down there, so we will have to go down there. But the reason why I like coming to the top at the very start is that I can scout around and look for enemy tramplers. Now enemy tramplers will have a load of smoke coming out of their trampler, right? So you will be able to see them. There is one item in the game that people can use that will hide their smoke. However, you should still be able to see them if you're up here and paying attention. This is a parts crate. This has mechanical parts, pneumatic parts, scrap metal, which is used for crafting on the trampler or in your inventory, and energy rods. Now the mechanical parts are used to build your trampler, so you need those basically always, and the pneumatic parts are also used for crafting your trampler. Once you get to the tier 2, a lot of the things cost pneumatic parts, so you want to make sure you are gathering those. Moving on, you always want to be checking on top of the boxes because there's normally a fort storage room key. Now, most of the forts, if not all of them, have a fort storage room that require that key specifically to unlock. This is a green rare weapon crate, so it should have a better weapon for us. Now, we actually got a sniper rifle. The sniper rifle is really good in this game. This one does not have the scope. I actually see a reflector down there. That is an experimental item, which is really good. This is why we like to loot forts. It's so easy to loot. You can watch the whole way around you and things like that. Now our crate is full, so we're gonna drop it right here and grab another empty box, and we can then pick up the rest of the loot. You don't really have to worry about picking up these guns. You get guns very easily. It's not too hard to get these guns, and these guns are really bad. Now the ammo on the ground is from the dead zombies that we killed. They drop either the weird coral. Let's see if I can find. I think I picked one up in the box. So they normally drop. There's also another great silence right here. Boys, this item is really good. We can put it on our inventory. You only get a 1 shot, and it's a chance to shut off your enemy's reactor if you shoot their reactor. Now this is, as it is, it's a red item. It's an experimental item, which means it's one of the best items in the game, or of the most rarity in the game. The other thing that we have on top of these forts is going to be cannons. So if you're looking for cannons, going to the fort and on top, you're going to find a lot of cannons. Now they also have ammo. Now, if you want the cannons, you can go ahead and pick up the cannons. However, I don't normally pick up rusty cannons. However, when I did start, I did pick up a lot of rusty cannons. I don't plan on playing on this account for too much unless you guys are enjoying the content. Let's go ahead and take our box, jump on our trampler, and depot it onto our compartment. Now, at the end of the raid, when you extract, your box must be on one of the compartments on your ship for it to come out of raid with you. Now, a good tip for jumping on and off your trampler is just keep tapping space and you will catch and jump up very fast. Let's go ahead and do one more little scout here, make sure nobody's running up on us, and then we can go down and loot the bottom. All right, so we look good here. I actually forgot we put that storage key in here, so let's go ahead and grab that. Let's put the fort storage room key on our body, then we can work our way down. I am noticing that on the bottom here there was this item. This is another experimental item. This is a protective dome. So if we pop this, we're going to be protected from enemy fire for a good amount of time. You cannot shoot through it, but it will protect you to repair your ship, get out of harm's way, and things like that. Let's make sure this gets on our ship immediately in case we get snuck up on and need a quick way to defend ourselves. You can put it right in the middle of your ship. Generally, you want to put it more towards the reactor side to make sure the bubble goes all the way around, but it is a pretty big bubble. The next kind of item we have to loot in the game is going to be these safes. This is going to have crowns, Leviathan skins, which you will need a lot of, and coral chunk. Over here, we also see a rare food crate. This will have food, threads, and Leviathan meat. This is the green rare one. I don't see anything else up here, so we can drop down. Let's just check for any other loot. These barrels right here are used to blow up red doors. There is not really any red doors, I don't think, over here. However, if there was, you could put that there, shoot it, and it blows up. Get our box back. This is medical cabinets. This will spawn med kits, mixtures. It'll have med kits are really good for healing, so now we can throw a med kit on there. Now the food will only heal you 1 bar of health, whereas the med kit will heal you up to full, and it will heal you up immediately. Very good. At forts, you will see these reactor looking things. Basically, these are used to craft. So there are certain things that you can craft in the workbench depending on the craft that you're doing. Now, as you can see, there's a sniper rifle here. So if we find the parts that we need, we can craft a legendary sniper rifle from the very start of the game. The sniper rifle has the chance to one-shot enemies if you hit a headshot. It's really good. It's really good. If we get that, which we should try to, we'll craft that and use this gun. However, you can also craft that on your Trampler because we did put that crafting on there, the armament workshop. Here's the storage room. You can use that fort storage key if you have it. Let's go ahead and see what kind of loot we have in here. So we have the red crate now. This is a red crate of shells, which normally gives you better ammo. It also gives you reinforced leather straps, which will be used for the tech. Most of the stuff you get in this game, you want to keep because it will be used for the tech tree. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and grab another empty box and loot the rest of the stuff in here. As you see, we got an MA2 rifle, which is really good. We're just gonna drop this revolver on the ground, and we're gonna grab this MA2 rifle. We don't need all this ammo, so we're gonna put it in here. And then we're also gonna take this grenade, as it's really good for killing enemies and opening up red doors. I also have a 40mm cannon here. It is a rusty. There is chances for it to be worn and pristine, but we didn't get lucky in this one. Make sure we got everything here and we are good to bounce out. Now our kit is already looking so much better. We have a good gun to defend ourselves. We have that sniper rifle for when we have the needed parts for it. So that is why I like looting forts. It's really easy to loot. We got, you know, 2 different experimental. We got a better gun. We somehow didn't get armor, but I'm sure we'll find that. You can find armor really easily at the boats. Almost any military boat will have some kind of armor at it, some kind of cannon, things like that. Now that we looted this fort, we're gonna head. As you can see, the storm is coming in. In the bottom left of your screen is going to be the timer of the storm. If you're caught in the storm, it will kill you first, and then it will kill your Trampler. If you're at extraction, the storm will protect your Trampler, but it can kill you. So keep that in mind. The storm does not play around in this game. It doesn't give you much time. You want to stay in the middle as much as possible whenever playing. Once this storm closes, this will be the second circle. It will open up the extraction points for this game. Now in Voyage, extraction points will be basically open whenever. They will show as like a little white circle on the map to signify that it's an extraction. We did see this ship over here, so we can go over there to try to loot it. So let's head that way. We did get some extra ammo in these boxes, so what we can do is load up our cannons with the ammo. So we put it all in a one box. We can then go around to all of our other boxes and take all the loot. We also got some HV shells, which are a little bit better than the regular shells. They just go a bit straighter and a bit further. Let's see if this ship is going to disappoint us. They normally do. We like to pull our ship straight up to it, so that way we have an easy time getting on and off the ship. On and off our Trampler. As you can see, there's a jacket here, so we'll put that on. Now you'll see there's a blue bar underneath us. It'll take a second for it to regenerate. So we have a couple more zombies down there. However, we can start looting up all of this. There's another jacket right here. It looks like these crates are empty, so that means somebody probably came and actually looted this already. But there is a utility box down here. Now these locked boxes, there are 3 of them. There's a military box, a valuables box, and a utilities box. They all require a box key to open. If you don't open them before you extract, you will still keep the loot at extraction and it will open up the box for you. Utility boxes generally have utility stuff. They'll have, you know, energy rods and things like that. The valuables box will have crowns and trophies, things that you can sell, as well as they have an opportunity for green keys, or so I've heard. The military box could have weapons like grenades, smoke grenades, items to fight, guns, and armor. Let's see if we're missing anything else. So yeah, it looks like somebody looted this. They just missed a couple of items. Not sure where they would have gone by now. We got an extra shotgun in here. We might as well take that in case we need to get a rekit at some point. And we're good to dip. Now normally you have to go about 1 grid out from POI or fort before you can go back to it to loot it. So we're going to go a little bit further out and go see if we can re-loot the same fort that is central in the map that will probably be in the storm. later in the game, so we have time to go loot it. So we're just about to grid out here. We're gonna get able to return in a second. Again, the whole time you're here, make sure you're watching out for PvP. When we see the PvP, I will show you how to defend yourself. I also have videos going over, you know, my style of PvP. For your very first raid, the main thing you should focus on is just surviving and getting out with the essential items that you're gonna need, such as crowns for the tech tree, resources for the tech tree, extra camo, and extra cannons and ammo, extra gear, things like that. You're really gonna want to get out very early on, so that way you don't get stuck with no loot, you know, trying to figure out, you know, how do I go from 0 to hero, right? So again, you can always reset your account and go onto another character if your first few raids don't go well. You can always get that starting loot back. All right, we were pulling back up to the fort. As you can see, the AI has respawned, so we will have to kill him again. The same thing applies as before. It will spawn whichever way your ship is facing. So I like to open it up. I don't like it to spawn behind the fort because I want to take it out as fast as possible. As you can see, there is an AI on the cannon, so we will also have to take him out. Now move forward so it spawns in front of you. We almost missed it there. And I generally like to use the 80mm. Now there is a critical point on the AI if you shoot them in the back, so keep that in mind, but they normally don't show it to you that much. As you can see, this AI is shooting at us, so we're going to want to take him out. It's going to be pretty tough to take out from here, so we can try to hit him with the 80mm. These are probably the most annoying things in any of your raids. So we're just a little short there, that's why I only did 100 damage. So we killed him off the turret. You know, we damaged it a little bit more. Generally, 1 or 2 more will go on that cannon. Let's see if they want to do that. You can also try to take them over the cannon. That way they don't have the opportunity to actually get on there. Here's that last one. See if we can snipe his head. Yeah, we ain't him. Alright, let's go get this AI loot, and then we'll go see if all the loot respawn on the fort. Now, I will say forts are better for in-raid items that you need to try to survive, and cities are really good for getting the items that you're going to need to get to the tech tree. As you can see, we have another AI shooting at us. It's just shooting one 80mm shot every, you know, 5 to 10 seconds, so it should be fun. But as you can see, he has already destroyed one of our compartments. Very frustrating. Let's take him off with the 80mm. If we pull up, they will no longer get the angle, and for a little bit further away, he also won't be able to shoot at us. Are you serious? What? No way. All right. I'm actually speechless. That was probably the most interesting death I have ever had in Sand Raiders of Sophie. I did not expect that AI to kill me so fast. I know I should have been taking more precautions. I was looking forward to showing you guys some PvP and things like that. Check those out if you want to see how I kind of PvP in this game if you're interested. The only other thing that I wanted to touch on before this video ended is going to be the tech tree, as that is going to be what you're primarily focused on in the beginning of the game. Now, in the GodBursts expedition, I know I butchered it. The main things you're going to want to go for is going to be the chassis. So that way you can get that weight capacity up from 20,000 pounds and you can start maximizing the amount of space you have on the chassis. The next thing you want to be going for is the reactors, as these are very important. The first reactor that you're going to want to get as soon as possible is going to be this 2x2 reactor. This is going to allow you to have a lot more HP on your reactor. We probably would have survived many more shots if we had this reactor. The next is going to be the middling chassis. This is going to be what you're going to be using as soon as you unlock it, paired with this reactor. This has 35,000 weight capacity. It's not very expensive and you can place a lot of defense to protect your reactor. Now in this expedition as well, you're going to have an upgraded captain's cabin which has 5,500 HP. We're going to have an auxiliary corridor, which is basically just for maneuverability around your ship. These are also pretty good to unlock. However, I wouldn't really stress these two as much as this motor reactor in the middling chassis. Going down to the second Kaiser's friends on the tech tree, the first things that you're going to want to unlock going over to the right is going to be the cargo hold because of the HP and extra storage space that you will have. And then you're going to have to get your way over to the cargo bay parallel. This is going to be an essential defensive compartment for your ship as it has 7,000 HP and it makes looting so much easier when you have these on your ship. This is what I normally use on my builds, especially as a solo, because they're not very expensive and have a lot of HP. These are the primary defenses that I like to put in front of my ship, so this is what I go for first. Moving on, we have armored decks, cargo holds, things like that. This is going into the tier 3. You have pristine cannons and things like that. I normally don't go for the cannons until I have my Trampler parts that I want, because the Trampler is going to be what is actually protecting you in the raid. You can get rusty turrets very easily. However, this will also unlock the shells that you can actually unlock and buy the actual shells and the ammo from the game. So as soon as you're done going through the main things for your Trampler, you generally want to go over and start getting these so you can buy ammo and things like that. The worn cannons are very good to have. They only cost a crate of Chardonnay to craft. For the shotgun turret, it costs a canned seed deer to craft, and then for the 40mm, it costs a crate of Chardonnay. So the 40mm and 80mm doesn't cost crowns in the shop. It costs crate of Chardonnays. The worn cannons cost 1. Once you get over to the pristine cannons, these ones cost 3 crates of Chardonnay. So they are really good. You do want to stack up your crate of Chardonnay so that way when you actually get here on the tech tree, you're able to, craft as many as possible. Going down to the final line of the tech tree, the KK line. The first things you're going to want to get is going to be the framed artillery deck. This is going to give your turrets 3,000 HP, which is 1,000 HP more than the regular cannon deck that we are using on our build. This is what I normally run on most of my builds on the mid tier and mid game. Moving over to the right, there is the large armament workshop. This also is a very good thing to use for defense on your ship. It has 35 HP, so it has more HP than your crew cabin 2 people, the tier 1 part that you automatically get. So it pairs really well with that if you're trying to protect the sides of your reactor. Especially in your mid-tier build, you're going to want to protect the front of your reactor the most and then the side of your reactor quite a bit. This is generally what I use to protect the side of my reactor in my normal builds. The tier 2 steering is pretty good. It has 3,500 HP and it is enclosed so that way you can not get sniped or cannoned off the steering wheel. The battering ram is probably my favorite item in the game. This is what I have on all of my builds in this game, unless it's a starter build. They're very easy to repair. There's 3 metal patches on the top. You don't need to shut off your engine when they get fully destroyed and get a repair kit. You can just use your repair tool that is on your character at all times. As well as the damage it does is based on the speed that you're going. So you definitely want to get this. It has 8,000 HP. It is a little bit pricey. It's 350 mechanical parts. So 2 of these is worth you know, basically our whole starter build. So this is a mid-game item that you're going to want to go for. By the time you get to it on the tech tree, you should have a good amount of stuff saved up regarding mechanical components, crowns, and pneumatic parts. The next things I would go for on this is going to be the framed armored artillery deck. This adds an extra 2 shots to your turrets, which is very good. The tier 3 steering is also very good. It has 4500 HP. You have to go through a door to actually get to it, so you are protected a lot more. Now on the top of this, there's the weapons. I would not worry about going for these tier 1 weapons too early. If you need them, then you can go ahead and go for it. It's not that expensive. You get scrapped ammo and crowns very easily in this game. You're going to have it at the end of each raid. As you go through, you can start to get C4. C4 is used for destroying doors in the game. So you can destroy Trampler doors, you can destroy red doors, anything like that. So the C4 would be one of the things that I would do whenever they turn on capturing Tramplers. However, you can craft them in game using your workshop, and they're very easy to craft. Honestly, if you just take in whatever it crafts, you can craft up like 20 of them very easily, and you can take those out of raid and you'll have a good chunk for each raid to go into. I normally take around 3 to 6 C4 every single raid when Trampler capture is on. Going through the tech tree, I wouldn't really worry about the tier 4 as much. However, the enclosed artillery compartment is probably one of the most crazy compartments you can actually get in this game. It's going to be a completely enclosed turret, so you can put your pristine or experimental there. It has 5,000 HP, which is 5 80mm shots, and you can shoot for it. It gives you a scope for your cannon too. Is really good, but it is a later game item. Going into the tier 3, the only other things that I would want to be going for during switching between mid-tier and late game builds is going to be the tier 4 cargo bays. This is an upgrade from the original cargo bay that we use on our mid-game builds, and these have 11,000 HP. These are going to be very good for protecting the front of your reactor. The next things we go for is going for in the top tech tree is going to be the Great Chassis. Now the Great Chassis is going to be the bare minimum you want to use for 3-man builds if you can, because it has 50,000 HP. You can stack up 4 cargo bays, 4 of the regular cargo bays in front of the 9,500 HP reactor, making your ship an absolute unit. So once you get to the Great Chassis, you definitely want to get that. I have a 3-man build video out that goes over the optimized version I like to run for my 3-man builds. Going over to the tier 4 stuff, you then have the smokeless rod, the Royal Chassis, which has 65,000 HP. It's the one with 8 legs. This thing is an absolute unit. This is made for late game. This is made for 6-man PvP. And really stacked 3-mans also run the Royal Chassis. This is a late game thing because it has so much weight. That is the tech tree. That's the things that I would go for immediately. Obviously it's up to you guys on what you're trying to do. If you're planning to run solo, I would probably try to get the Trampler parts needed to upgrade your ship as fast as possible. But if you're in a 3-man or something like that, you can go for the more cannon route if your teammates are running their ships and you're not too worried about running your own ship. However, for me, I like to push these parts so that way I have these to run later on in the game, and I'm not relying on my teammates to do so. There's a lot of information in this video, so I hope you guys took something away from it. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate the support you guys have given me. Yeah, this is my first guide video, so I know it wasn't really spaced out properly, and there's a lot of things coming at you at once. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace out.